Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with Overlord deck profile. So I think people do want to know about this deck, right? But at the same time, is this deck really like before when we in any other previous eras when we see Overlord is kind of a OP or very strong deck type? In like serious opinion, I don't think it is like overpowered and such because I've been playtesting against different builds. Some are easy, some are not. So, and of course, I've been playtesting against like Bastion, which most likely still be the top of our line. So, we pick up a good fight, but it's still a hard time. So it's not like this come out and just eat up the nations that built before. So yeah, but this deck is quite fun, so let's quickly go over the deck. So for right deck, first of course we do have our encounter right line. So it's Andrew, Bar, the Holland, and then Overlord, which so far I don't think you prefer something different, because the right line is just helping Overlord to fight a lot better in many ways. First, when you ride your Neharin over a bar, you kind of last one, you get yourself a great one. It can be a PG, it can be any pieces that you need for attacking, for grabbing your personal ride, because we do have stuff to do that. Or just pick up another card that helps you fill in your soul, whatever. That's really great. So it's kind of like control skill. And then when you go to the Neharin and go to Overlord, you can pull your Neharin out, which he can Soul Blast 1 to pump Overlord and Neharin itself by 5k for the turn, which is very important because you do want your attack to hit, you do want to hit good numbers, so that helps. And Overlord, having the skill that your opponents cannot guard from hand to the Guardian Circle when attacking a regard, really making his skill basically almost ready every single time. Almost. Because there are cards that can stop that, but for now I don't think we see that much in the meta. And also for Overlord can restand, so you do have 2 drives and then you go back to 1 drive after restand. So you, of course you need to ditch 1, so you basically +3 -1 becomes 2, so you gain 2 cards in the end without counting any draw triggers gain 2 effects. Yeah, so that's basically the right line, and your main goal is to use your Overlord to clean up your opponent's regards and then go to Vanguard. Or if you are brave enough to do the first attack against your opponent's Vanguard and gambling to hit and then restand again to hit again, that is possible, but usually that's not what I do. Yeah, so that's basically that. And then get into the main deck. Of course, we do need 3 more Overlords so that we can person ride, because having the person ride to get your Overlord into 23k really makes a difference. Yes, a 13k attack hitting a regard that they cannot guard from hand is quite good, or you usually can go to 18 with the Holland. But if you only go for 13, there's a chance that your opponents can just intercept with the other unit and try to save themselves there. And if you don't hit any triggers, your attack stops there, because your Overlord needs to hit in order to withstand. So the 5k from the Holland or the personal right 10k helps a lot. And also the 10k buff to your regards, friendly regards, can also make a lot of difference in power. And then also another encounter card, the Holland back again, because simply pumping up your Overlord and also pumping himself is just great, because this deck is the win condition is kind of simple. You just you rely on Overlord restand and just hitting bigger and bigger, and also trying to pump your regards bigger and bigger, which the Holland is doing both. And then this is a card I'm still kind of in question, but I'm still running for, which is the Berserk Dragon. So the skill of Berserk Dragon is when this card attacks, if you have a Overlord named Vanguard, during the battle, this card gets 5k power, and if you counterblast 1, you can also retire a grade 2 or regard, grade 2 or lower regard. So the retiring power is great, but also when we think about that, the meta we have right now is like Bastion, which they all are grade 3. So your Berserk Dragon can retire basically nothing. And if you are facing like Sarah Snow or Sarah White, that they kind of forcing you to use more resources to save your units, so you might not have enough counterblast to do that. But of course, facing other matchups, you probably have a chance to retire something, and even if you don't, as long as this card you have a Overlord Vanguard and attacking, if this card is a 15k attacker, so it's free as long as you don't pay the counterblast, and it's not a on place, it's just a on attack. So even if you don't have any counterblast to use this turn, if next turn you do, you can still get the effects off. So far, I'm just using him as a 15k attacker, but sometimes if I really have the spare counterblast, then I will use it to kill usually the back row so that I can clean them off. Okay, and then next is this interesting card, Cross Rock Dragon. So I think this not a lot of people actually see someone using, but I do like this card a lot. You probably will see this card in Eugene more, but in this deck it's also got its uses. So the skill is when this unit appears on the regard circle, choose one of your opponent's regard and they will move it to a empty front row regard circle. Yeah, so why this card is important is because your Overlord need to hit a regard, right? So what if your opponent's trying to have the PG in hand, put the regards at the back, and then just trying to do a slow game? This card helps. You pull the units from the back row, come out, and then you hit them with your Overlord. Or you still do have your other regards, so if you see something annoying, you pull that up, use Overlord to attack, and you still want to kill the other regards, you can use your other regards. Now they can attack there. And this is 10k, so unless your opponent is using Grave Freeze, then you're quite safe. And even if you're facing like Bastion, you can try to pull their non-Fossado Grave Freeze out. For example, the dragon that can give boost. Sometimes they just stay at the back and trying to keep soul blasting, and they probably, maybe, have only one on the field and nothing in hand. If you pull that dragon out somehow, and then attack it, retire it, maybe they cut, like, they don't have extra Grave Freeze to give boost and you can survive another turn, maybe. Or if you're facing Magnolia, they do have a lot of great regards like to attack from the back row, which allows them to basically have a chance to not play any front row units and then just use the back row to attack you. They can do that if they really want to, then this card can pull them up. So this is why I like this card, and I'm running it at 3. And then for the same situation, I have this interesting kind of solution right here. Is the Flame Dragon Bomber. So this order allows your Vanguard to have a skill that when all of your units, when they attack, they can also choose to attack back row regards. So do be careful that this order is allowing your units to attack the back row, not when they attack the front row at the same time attacking the back row. That's not the case. So if you choose to attack a back row, then you're only attacking that unit. You're not attacking their Vanguard, you're not attacking their front row units, if you choose to attack the back row instead. So this is also a way to help you clean up your opponent's board with Overlord, because if they have a Fossado at the back, they have the dragon at the back, or they have any other thing that you feel annoying at the back, and your dragon is not going to help you pull them up because the front row is full, then you can use this order, swing those rearguards at the back because you are not using effects to target them. It's just this order allowing Overlord or any of your other units be able to choose those units as an attack target, so you can still basically attack them. So I think this order is really great. Yeah, because sometimes I just see those rearguards that I hate, and then I don't have a chance to clean them up because I don't have extra counterblast or Berserk Dragon, or I don't have this dragon in hand, so I can't do that. But play this order, problem solved. And even you're on a hard get to 15k can basically just hit all of them. Yeah, and even if you can't find any use of this card in some situation, you can just ditch with your Overlord, so no hurt at all. Then entering Great Ones, 2 more bars. Bar is actually just simple that as long as your banger hits get 5k, so can be a 13k booster or attacker. That's basically his use. Nothing more, nothing less. That's why I'm running 2 more, because I think usually that's enough. But if you do prefer more, feel free to use more. And then 2 Gojos. This card is very important because if you are playing a long game, you do want to basically have some counter charger, because one time you are going to run out of your counter blast, and this card uses quite a lot of counter blast. This use, so, and basically they're using it every single time, so you do want some counter charger. But then Gojo needs to boost Vanguard and attack it, so you can't place multiple Gojos out and try to do counter charge multiple times. You only can do it like basically once per turn. So 2 here, you're aiming to win game fast, but if game's going a little bit longer, then Gojo can help you. And 2 of the 10 stat. So this is a card to help you grab your Overlord, because as I said before, being able to personal ride really helps a lot, and the extra 10k buff to your Overlord can make the attack a lot more scary, to make you a lot easier to basically hit, because you do have some other cards like orders or like some interesting interceptors that can pump their shield value very high, so you rather not make that happen and trying to find your Overlord quicker. And since you squeeze one Overlord from your deck, you're increasing your chances to hit trigger because of deck winning. And then I'm running 3 of the Tokachi Rashi, so this is a new card from the set. You probably see this card in the overdress deck more, but yeah, it's what this uses is, as long as you discard this card, go to your soul. You can choose to do that, of course, but usually you do. So why do you need to use soul? You need it for the Haran, and then you might need that against prison, right? So having more souls, so you can just be more safe, and it's not a waste. So yeah, and since you're on the Harem, when you ride on top, it's go out from the soul, so you do want to have more souls, so you can just stable to use on the Harem. Yeah. And then Velocity Hazard, 10k booster, just to make all your attacks a lot easier to hit most stuff. Yeah, that's basically the use. Mainly behind Vanguard if you don't need to play Gojos, but if you do, then you can still put it like as on the side to just be a 10k booster, because sometimes you do need to play your 8Ks on the field, or even just this, and having a 10K boost instead of 8K boost, that 2K is going to make the difference. And then, of course, for PVs, nothing much to say right there. And triggers, over trigger using the Dragon Empire one, because Overlord is after your opponent is taking the damage, you can choose to withstand or not. So if you can withstand this first with over trigger, then you don't need to use the skill and lose your drive, and you can still go 3 drive, assuming your first attack hitting your over trigger. But even if the second one is there, you can still do 1 extra drive, so why not? And then here are 6 crits, 2 of the fronts, new fronts, 3 draws, and 4 heals. So the reason I'm running the front is same as the reason of doing personal ride. You do want more power to your front rows, so that helps. And this front trigger is kind of a 20k shield as long as your opponent is grade 3 or higher, which is quite easy to do. So I'm adding this card. At first it's like a testing on how this card can actually bring the deck with more defensive power, testing the new front concept, but I feel like this card is actually fitting the deck quite well. Only 2, because I do want to focus crits still, because if you're only healing 1 damage every single turn, even with withstand, we thought the crit threat is not that scary, so only 2, but it's good enough because we do need some room for draws and heals. So that's the lineup. Yeah, so that's basically the deck profile. So far, through a lot of playtesting, I've been playtesting against like Bastion, playtesting against Prison, also playtesting against like Overdress, against PVD. So far, it's doing okay. Of course, I can't win every single game, but that's usually how the era works right now, and they do quite a good job in adjusting the power of like the encounter cards, the old cards, so that they won't go too over, but at the same time they can fight quite well. But same as PBD, that we do have a little problem that these cards are kind of fixed, and we do want to see a little bit more generic support, so that for example, something like this is usually for Eugene, but I can find it useful in Overlord. This is probably just for Overlord because Eugene and the founder probably don't need that. And then you can see most of the content are encounter cards, so if there are more generic support that we can actually put into consideration when making or upgrading our Overlord deck, I think that can change a lot and making the deck more fun, more directions, or even like a different ride line that we can do. But of course, we do know that for encounter cards we are not going to get support like a year later, and the next encounter card is likely not relating to Overlord, not relating to PPD. So basically that's all we have, and we need to survive from the meta with other Dragonic Empire support to make the decks more stable, more interesting, more threats. Yeah, but so far I have to say they do quite a good job in balancing your cards, not going too over, so that when you use an Overlord, it's not like, okay, spam, I'm going to win. No, you do need to think a lot, you do need to plan well, you do need to play well, practice well in order to use this deck to win. So again, I like this, and I'm glad that they are balanced. Yeah, so do let me know your comments about Overlord. Have you actually made a build? Is it something different? Like, I don't see people using this card, but I do like it. I don't see people using this card, but I do like it. I don't see people using cards like the if you have 2 or less regards plus 5k, but there are chances that I don't see that happen. So instead of that, it's also at 10k. I'm trying to create the situation for probably a fun game and something that no one expected. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.